Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be hitching the crew cab up to my trailer and we're going to pick up another Crewcab Squarebody that's a client's, and we're gonna be going through it and just fixing it. The last couple weeks have been pretty rough for me mentally with some other stuff that's been going on, but I'm ready to have some fun working on some old trucks. So let's go. All right, time to get some gas. We're probably gonna burn like 120 bucks going to Sylvan Lake and back. That's all good. I've got 10:30 here. We'll probably burn a liter or two in this 2-hour trip. It's kind of bad, I know, but whatever. Eventually we'll be slamming a diesel in here. 33 liters cost me 50 bucks, $1.48 per liter. Okay, off we go. I already have had a bunch of coffee this morning, so we're doing fine. Okay, we will see you guys when we get there. All right, so we made it. As you can see here, it's looks like a 3/4 ton 4x4 crew cab. We're gonna throw it on the trailer and we're gonna take it back to the shop and go through it all and try and get it running and driving for $5 grand. Okay, so we got her on. Thanks to the removable fenders, it went pretty easy. So, gonna chain her down and then hit the road. Thanks, man. Just taking it back to the shop to fix up for a guy, so yeah. I have a YouTube channel.
I was just fucking saying, that guy looks like a YouTuber.
Yeah, I buy and sell and fix trucks and stuff. I hope you guys like these types of videos. It's pretty much just me goofing around. I'm not gonna lie, there's not much more I find annoying than people scanning all their lottery tickets in the gas station. That'll get us home. I hope. We've got 80 kilometers to go, $1 per kilometer. Well, we barely made it back to Didsbury. We're leaking oil, we're blowing smoke. I was losing power really bad, but we made it. I'm already noticing things we gotta fix. It's all good. All right, let's pack her over to the shop, I guess. I don't want to try and push this bad boy off the trailer. I'd rather drive it off. So let's pop the hood here and see what we're dealing with. Okay, so I went and got some gas. Now we're gonna throw it in here, throw the new battery in, and we'll just see. I'm hoping it just fires right off the hop. I always give it a really good splash because she's probably way too much of a splash. Yeah, that wasn't really that great, but whatever. We've got nothing. The key didn't even turn anything on, so I think these connections here are really bad, so I'm going to take this apart again, clean those up really good, and then we'll try it again.
That was the stupidest thing Chevy ever did. Put a little 5/16 friggin' thing on there, and then everybody wrecks them with a pair of pliers.
Okay, here we go. Yikes. It needs some exhaust gaskets desperately. Well, it's safe to say that it runs. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but it does run. It's only running on like maybe 5 cylinders. So I'm gonna take it off and we're gonna pull it in the shop. Once we get it in the shop, you'll see me again. Okay, I'm just gonna be talking to myself over here, just so you know. All right, so we brought her in and we need to figure out what this bad boy needs. Now, it needs an air filter housing cleaner, and I think I have a couple of those. It's running on like 5 cylinders. I already fixed the battery thing here. So I'm gonna set the camera up and just look under here and start writing stuff down because I think it needs quite a bit of stuff. You know, look at this. if you can see that. This is what we need under the hood here for right now. So let's see what we need under here. It's actually in pretty clean shape. Like, I've seen a lot worse. This thing isn't leaking like crazy. You know, all the fuel lines are in pretty good shape. I think it would probably be a good idea to replace all these rubber fittings. So we'll replace all those. I'll replace all the U-joints here because these things are pretty rusty, and you know what? They're easy enough to do. You might as well just do them. It looks like the steering box is leaking a bit, so we might have to fix that. We'll need new brake hoses because these ones are cracked. But all in all, not a bad rig. We're gonna start ripping and tearing, get this thing apart, get the wheels off, and get stuff, you know, tore apart for all the new parts. Should be a good time. It's actually a pretty cool rig. Not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous, but that's all good. All right, so we've got her up on the hoist here. I'm gonna pull the drums off. I'll pull the axles out, pull the bearings off. Then we're gonna drop the drive shaft. We're gonna do all the U-joints in both drive shafts. So today what I wanna get done is get the e-brake working, which I think it kinda works. So we'll just lube everything up, get the U-joints done, pull the axles out. We'll probably change the gear oil while we're here. Brake cylinders, and we'll do the rear brake lines too. So, should be good. This bad Ricky's back on, that one's back on too. We got the parking brake set. I forgot to get the brake lines when I was at the store, so I'll have to go back and get those. So what I'm gonna do now is whip the drive shaft off and then soak all the U-joints in WD-40, and then I'm gonna go get the brake lines, and then I'm gonna go home for the day. I was putting electric fans in the Cummins swap this morning, so I didn't get a ton of work done today, but that's all good. We got some of the annoying stuff done. Day number 3. Today we're gonna be doing driveline, trying to finish everything underneath the truck, and then hopefully tomorrow and Friday we'll get to the motor and everything under the hood. We're gonna be finishing off these brake lines because we might as well, because they're literally like, you know, $4. Might as well replace those. And then we're gonna do all the U-joints in all the drive shafts. You know, like and subscribe. You know, I don't know if you guys like watching me goof around in the shop, but if you do, leave a like. Leave a comment to tell me something that you are working on. Love you guys. It is time to get into it. All right, so this here is the brake hose connect. This is the brake hose bracket here. And I need to extend it a couple inches because the brake hose that we have here won't work because there's a lift kit on this truck and I don't know where to get an extended brake hose. So I'm going to extend this whole thing by a couple inches to give me that slack that I need. So what I'm going to do is so turned out not bad. It should give us what we need, and once it rusts over it'll look pretty much factory. So we got the rear brakes all done and everything. Now I'm going to do all the U-joints in the drive shafts. So I'll just throw her on time lapse and let her buck. All the driveline stuff's done. Got the U-joints in, we got the new brake hoses in, we got the brakes fixed. Steering stabilizer. So now we're gonna goof around under the hood. It's got a new cap, it's got new rotor, got new plug wires, new spark plugs. We're gonna replace the spark plugs. Just it was having a really bad misfire, so fix that. We're gonna drain the coolant first thing, and then put the new rad hoses on and go from there. Again, I'll say it, this hoist is nice. I can take the wheels off and then bring this thing right down because it has like a 6 or 7 inch lift on it. so slick, my friends. Today I am going to show you guys how to remove any exhaust related bolt, manifold bolt, collector bolt, without snapping it. Because if it's rusty and it's old, you've probably snapped one already and you're probably frustrated. So I'm going to show you how to do it without snapping them, and it's very easy. Let's get into it right away here. As you can see here, I've got some very rusty bolts. Now the first thing you want to do is take some sort of penetrating oil and I soak them down. And you can do this right before you hit it with the heat or after, but I let these soak for a day. And now I'm going to put the torch on them and heat each one up until it's red hot. And then they will come out really easy. And then I can reuse them and I don't have to goof around. And look at that. That is how you do that. And you just be really gentle with it and be careful. And sometimes the bolt might actually come out instead of the nut. That's okay. Just be very gentle with it. This will work. It'll work, but you have to get it very hot. Hopefully that helps you guys. All right, so we're making progress. We just got her up and running. I took the carburetor off. Took the rad hoses off, replaced those, replaced some fuel lines. Checked all the spark plugs, replaced those. Got a few more things to do. I got the steering box to do, I've got the master brake cylinder to do, and then I've got to do a brake bleed. Topped up the power steering fluid. We got a new battery in here. We've got to do new front hubs. We got, you know, a new windshield in here. So now I'm gonna lift the truck up and do front hubs and keep just tinkering around. Every time, you know, I start working on an old truck, I'm like, man, there's just so much stuff to fix, because lots of times these things have been sitting here for years and years. But this thing actually runs pretty good. I'll fire it up for you guys right now. You know what? We're back again for another week of goofing around in the shop. Got some tunes just blasting. All right, so on this thing today, we're gonna be doing fluid changes, which I've already started on. We're gonna be changing the steering box and we're gonna be changing the heater core. All pretty annoying jobs, not gonna lie. Got the new hubs on here. Things are going good. The only problem is we're kind of over budget on this bad Ricky already. We had a budget of about $5 grand parts and labor, but the problem is we keep finding more problems, and that is just the reality of old trucks. When they have been sitting in the field for, you know, 20 years, stuff just starts to rot and rust and all that type of crap. So anyways, time to get to work. All the fluids have been serviced minus the diffs, and I think they're probably fine. So gonna pop the steering box off and clean up this thing here. This hoist is just gangster. Changed the game for me. All right, let's clean up some of the oil here. I absolutely love taking power steering lines out of steering boxes that have been seized in there for, you know, years. That one came loose. Praise the Lord. I'm not even joking you. Praise the Lord. Because that is always a pain in the butt. Why do dad jokes always slap? It's because they're very apparent. The problem with having scabs on your wrist is you rip them off all the time. It does not feel very cool. Never actually replaced a steering box before. There we go. All right, next up, we're gonna take this heater core out of here. All right, we got the heater core replaced. Time to fill this bad Ricky up. This exhaust manifold here has a bolt hole that is 1/2 inch out. So that's my problem. All right, so we got the steering box on, we got the heater core done. You know, we've got pretty much everything. I'm gonna slam the wheels back on and then we're gonna take it for a little drive around the yard. All right, she's okay. Like I said, 2 cylinders have really low compression, but she's idling on its own and the clutch works. It's smoking pretty good because, you know, we've got lots of old oil and debris everywhere. So I'm just gonna let it run here, and I want to get it up to temp and make sure that it'll actually, you know, not explode, and it'll run nice. The temperature is coming up, so that's really good. Building heat. Oil pressure gauge isn't really working that good, but we do have oil pressure, I do know that. Well, we're at the car wash here. We're gonna give it a good spray down. I think it needs a power steering pump, and it also needs whatever this is here, drag link, tie rod, I don't know. Anyways, that's what we're gonna be working on later. And yeah, we're gonna give her a spray. We've got the beast pretty much done. We're waiting for some leaf springs, so I'm gonna take it off the hoist, put it outside, and we're gonna pull another truck in. Now, if you're dragging something out of the field and you're wondering, what should I fix? This is what you should fix. I'm gonna go over everything that I did, and this way you know that it's not gonna like kill someone when you're going down the road. So we'll start at the front here. The first thing I did was change these rubber brake hoses, all three of them. There's one in the back, two in the front. We replaced the drag link ends because they were a little bit loose. We checked the wheel bearings. I put new front hubs in because the locking hubs were broke. I put a new steering box in because it was leaking like a sieve. And you know, you can still use them. It doesn't really matter if they're leaking, but it's just annoying, especially if you live in town, you know, getting crap all over your driveway all the time. And also you're just always leaking, and if you go too low with your power steering pump, then you'll fry that, which I have done, you know, a few times. Changed the oil, I checked everything, and this thing doesn't even leak that bad. It looks like it's got a fairly new starter on it. The shocks look good. I checked the diff oil, and it's all good. Always want to check that, because over time it can just leak, and then if you go and rip it, then it might, you know, blow. Checked the oil in the transmission, we drained it and put new oil in. Same thing with the transfer case. And we took the front drive shaft out because it was toast. And he's just gonna put a brand new one in because the joint there has a little ball coupler thing in it that keeps it from vibrating when you're going down the road, and that was snapped off. So he needs to buy a new drive shaft. I put an inline fuel filter back here, and I strapped it right to the frame. You know, this is a good idea if it's been sitting in the field for a really long time, because who knows what's been sitting in that tank. So I put a new fuel filter in, and I put it in a really nice, easy spot for him to change it out. And I'm gonna recommend to him that he changes that, you know, once every 2 weeks for the next month or two, just to make sure all that crap is clogged out, or all that crap is taken out of there. This transfer case is a fairly healthy leak, but it'll be okay. It's not gonna cause that big of an issue right now. Did all new U-joints. I always do every single U-joint in the rear drive shaft, because you don't know, you know, what condition they're in, and they're fairly cheap and easy to do. We did a new rear brake hose. We're gonna be doing new leaf springs, because these ones, there's a crack right there, as you can see in the top one, which is super annoying, because if you do one pack, you kind of have to do the other one, or else it'll sag. So when we get these in, I'm actually gonna whack out 3 leaves out, or I'm gonna take 2 leaves out of the back so that it sits level, because it looks super dumb when your truck is lifted and not sitting level. We fixed the window, because up there it came out of its track, and the window actually came unglued. And if your window ever comes out of the little rack that it sits in, where it goes up and down, clean the rack out, clean the window out really nice, and then just use Right Stuff. Press it in there, put the window all the way up, get some pressure on there, and let it sit for a day. And that Right Stuff will hold your new window in, no problem. We fixed the exhaust too. Doesn't leak near as bad as it was leaking. Coolant flush, oil flush, new power steering hoses, new coolant hoses, upper and lower rad hose, fuel lines. You know, we did some other stuff. But just a bunch of random stuff, you know. If you like what you're watching, you know, like and subscribe. I've got some other funny videos, and I've got some other ideas coming up shortly. But yeah, thanks for watching Sam's Trucks. It's just a good time.